So today we're going to look at githooks, and this is a mechanism whereby if we have code on our local machine and we push it from Git on our local machine to GitHub in the cloud, that we want our application that's running, say, on AWS to then automatically pull that code in. And the way it works is we can place what we call a Git hook on GitHub, and that will automatically, when it receives a push of new code, so when our application is updated and we push it to GitHub, GitHub, using a Git hook, will send an event to a URL. So we need to run a web server, a small web server. For example, we may be running in AWS, and that web server then can pull the code from GitHub, so do a git pull. And so what happens is that the code is pushed to GitHub. GitHub sends an event to our web server, say running on AWS, and our web server issues a pull to pull the code in and restart the application. This is kind of an automatic continuous integration. So let's take a look at the web server here first. Here's our web server. It needs to be able to launch a child process. So in a shell, for example, run a git pull. So here we have git pull. So when it receives a post, so GitHub is going to do an automatic post to our web server and to our update route. So here we're going to check, we should do more checks really, but here we're going to immediately launch a child process where we're going to change directory to demo express and issue a git pull. And so basically then this will pull the code into whatever directory we specify here. So this is launching, this is doing all the work. And then we're just catching some errors here that we can track exactly what's going on. Okay, so that's up in AWS. In the demo here, I'm just going to run it on my own machine, but we're going to launch that. So let's just launch that code first. So here we are, and I need to run node, and it's called test.js. So now I've got the server running that's waiting to receive a post from GitHub. So let's now go to GitHub. Here I am on GitHub. This is my repo, Demo Express, basically just a web page, an index.html, but that doesn't matter. So what we're going to do now is set up a web hook here. So we go to webhooks and we're going to add a web hook. So I need to know the IP address of my machine. So here it is here. So let me get that, because I'm going to set up, I'm going to tell it, go to HTTP, here's my address, and I want the root on that to be update. And here I'm going to use JSON. I'm not going to set a secret, but you can. And now I'm going to add a webhook. And when I add a webhook, it automatically tests the connection. Here now I'm going to add the webhook. And let's see if we can watch what's happening here. So I'm going to click and I add the webhook, and it's still waiting. Okay, it's got it, and now it's doing a pull. As it happened, the master was up to date. So you'll see here now that this was successful. If we refresh this page, it should, it shows that the Git hook was successful in contacting our web server, and the code has been pulled up. So that's pretty slick. You can get the code for this demo at the above two repos on GitHub, and the githooks contains the server that pulls the code. Okay, thanks.